this is pretty informal. Ryan was telling me that we had never done a YouTube live stream or like a countdown live. So I didn't realize that. I thought that it had been done before.
I thought we did the original launch countdown.
That's what I thought too, but maybe it wasn't live.
Oh.
But who knows?
I thought it was because I saw it and I wasn't there.
So
it must have been live.
I saw the YouTube recording, which by definition isn't live. Dionysus, hi, welcome. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, hello everyone. Greetings from Greece. Yeah, it's exciting to be here, and thank you for the invitation, Elena.
Yeah, of course. I think people are going to be trickling in and out just because some people on the core team are kind of like keeping an eye on the actual activation and making sure that goes off without a trouble. But then for this chat, yeah, I was just thinking this could be a time where people could share like how they feel about Heartwood, what they worked on, or what particular part of the network upgrade they're most excited about. And then we had, if there's enough interest, and of course it's early in the morning for some of us, there's a game that we could play. Dara, this is the Zcash taboo game that we played earlier, which is pretty fun. It's a little bit tricky, but I think, at least for me, the coffee hasn't kicked in yet, so we might need to do that in like 15 or 20 minutes. But yeah, why don't we, oh, good morning, Linda. I think you're on mute.
Hi.
What time you're in? It's 5 a.m. for you, right? Yes. Barely hanging in there. But yeah, let's maybe go around the horn and say, I mean, especially for people who on the call who actually did stuff on Heartwood, I think that would be Dara, Dionysus, and Frederick. Yeah. What can you tell us about the network upgrade that we maybe haven't read already? What's the story behind the music?
So I didn't actually do any work myself. I have to preface that. But it was my involvement has been interesting because it started when the Fly client's proposal was presented, I think at the 2019 Stanford Blockchain Conference. So early 2019, I think it was. And started talking about Zuko and Nathan about like, are they going to actually try to adopt this and how does that work? And we were working on the Rust client at the time, and started getting involved in the process. And then at ZCon last year, it was like more or less decided that this is gonna, we're gonna attempt to get this in, and Zuko was asking around for help integrating it and developing it. And because we had already done a bunch of this stuff on the Rust side, we actually kind of volunteered to try to get it done on the C++ client as well. So Nikolai from Parity is actually the one who's been doing the work. And so yeah, big shout out and props to him for actually doing it. But yeah, it's been an interesting journey to get involved in more of the core development, even if it's a relatively like low touch thing to do.
And for people who might not know, especially for people tuning into the live stream, can you talk a little bit about like what Fly Client is and how that could be useful in Zcash? I think I know what it is, but sometimes I get confused.
Yeah, I mean, so there's in Bitcoin, there's these SPV, simple payment verification protocol that is very simplistic, and it still requires you to sort of sync the full header chain, and that can be pretty slow. And so running like clients on the normal Bitcoin protocol is kind of a pain in the ass, and it's made even worse by some factors in Zcash. So like just running a light client was not that pleasant. And Fly client instead of having a normal just Merkle tree, then you submit Merkle proofs for the inclusion of your payments. It includes a Merkle mountain range in the header, which is just a commitment to all of the previous state of the chain in some way. So if you can get that root and you can prove that that's on the correct chain, which Fly Client does sort of probabilistically, so you don't have to download the whole header chain, you can basically run a Fly Client much faster in an easier way, and on much like lower powered devices. So it's just a way to sort of run a Fly Client in a more ergonomic way. And technically, it's not that complicated. Like the implementation wise, it's relatively straightforward. The paper is a good paper to read if you're interested. But yeah, that's the gist of it.
The paper
Nice.
is great. It's very well written. I like it.
And the paper was Luciana Kiffer, Loy Lu, and I think
It's also Benedict Wins.
yes, Benedict. Yeah, I love that name. Nice. Okay. Dara or Dionysus, and I think also Dodger joined the call. Welcome, Dodger. Do y'all have any reflections on
Hello.
Heartwood?
Reflections. Zcash is one of the most fascinating projects I've worked with. Well, no, it's the most fascinating project I've worked on. It's always something new. It's an interesting mix of politics and math. Yeah, I really enjoy working on it.
That's the best definition I heard.
I know. I'm actually writing that down to tweet it later, or maybe tattoo it on
is
my
that
body.
a Daraism now?
yeah. Interesting mix of politics and math. I mean, but that's kind of like all of the like governance and
all
upgrade.
crypto.
Yeah, all
Okay.
crypto.
I guess it is why I got into crypto in the first place. So.
Yeah.
Which
It
means
is very cool.
cryptography.
Cryptography. It is very cool working on something that's at the cutting edge of of cryptography, of cryptocurrencies, of cryptocurrency governance, and really challenging the established way that things operate.
Yeah, what do you guys think about so Heartwood is actually two zips, Fly Client, and then the other one is shielded Coinbase. Does anybody, maybe Dara or Dodger, do y'all want to talk about shielded Coinbase?
Yeah, so the basic idea in shielded Coinbase is it's one of the few things in the protocol that previously was required to use transparent addresses. So if we want to move completely to shielded addresses, which I'm very keen on, then we need to remove sort of all of these things that require transparent. Another one, by the way, is multisig. So currently the protocol is capable of shielded multisig, but so it's not implemented, and we need to do the security analysis of that.
And
So
would
that's coming
shielded
soon.
Coinbase help shielded multisig?
Well, they're independent,
Mm-hmm.
but the two things that we need to have in order to move to completely shielded protocol, or would need.
Yeah, there's a whole long list of things that kind of prerequisites for going fully shielded, and there's the sort of scripting functionality that we inherited from Bitcoin. Mm-hmm. There's just general adoption. There's no point in going fully shielded if none of the merchants or exchanges support it. Right. And part of that is regulators being comfortable with it. So I think they they've just about gotten comfortable with Bitcoin, and they're kind of now faced with the prospect of coins like Zcash that have a lot of privacy enabled, and that is another thing for them to wrap their heads around and understand how the risks around that can be managed and mitigated. But yeah, I think that the real usefulness of transparent Zcash is that it provided a really, really easy way for third parties to integrate Zcash, because all they had to do was just reuse the tooling that they already had for Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I think as time goes on, the Bitcoin model doesn't lend itself to scaling, and that's something that the company is going to be focusing on a lot in the next, probably year and a half or so. And it wouldn't surprise me if part of that ended up moving towards a shielded by default model. That's not to say that it won't still be possible to transact transparently. It'll just be in a different way to the way it is now, I would expect. Not being either a cryptographer or a developer. I would totally defer to.
I would expect that
like
as well. I mean, whenever you have a cryptographic key, you can always make it public, or you can always give it to some set of other people, and that will be the case for viewing keys, even in a fully shielded protocol.
Yeah. I wanted to kind of clarify something. We were talking about the authors on the Fly client paper, and I wanted to give credit to everybody, so I missed a name. It's Benedict Bunce, Luciana Kiffer, Lloyd Liu, and Mahdi Zamani. That was the last name. That Mahdi
attribution
Zamani.
is important.
Yeah. It's definitely something that I'm learning as part of this, is that I think like when I was writing the original kind of blog post explaining Heartwood, I was like, okay, there's these two zips, Dara, Strad, got it, let's put it in there. And it wasn't until maybe we had already published the blog post that then I became fully aware of, like, Dara, you say it all the time, we're standing on the shoulders of giants, just like how much work goes into every single one of these Zcash improvement proposals, these zips. And yeah, first somebody has to propose the research, then the research has to be kind of like, it sounds like battle tested and then implemented, or somebody has to propose what an implementation could look like. And here I thought you guys were just, scribbling on a whiteboard, and then boom, it goes into the protocol.
No, it's exactly like that. That's how it works.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Got it. Super
Whiteboard,
easy. Anybody can
software.
do it. Yeah.
Simple master programming.
Just a little mashup.
Core team always surprising people.
Yeah, core team making it look easy.
Speaking of which, I've got to go to the core team meeting now.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks for dropping by.
Thanks. Bye.
Dionysus, we haven't heard from you. Feel free to chime in. And then people who are not on the core team at ECC. Oh, I feel like we've had Andre waiting in the waiting room for a while. So yeah, feel free to share maybe your involvement with the Heartwood upgrade, or kind of like any general reflections before we activate.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, that's an exciting update. So my involvement with it, so I didn't work on the code of Zcash here at all, but the Fly client paper is actually an extension of a previous paper that we wrote, the proofs of work paper, or the NEPA paper. So we introduced the first theoretical model to do super light clients, and we created the first such client, and then Fly client is a second iteration on top of that, which uses different techniques. So I'm quite excited to see this being adopted through a hard fork in a blockchain to interlink it. So adding this ability. And in fact, the latest update to Zcash, so Heartwood, will allow us to run either Fly client or the older NEPA protocol. So that's quite exciting to see that it's being adopted in practice. A previous attempt to deploy it, we've only run it on top of Bitcoin Cash testnet, so just as a trial. And there's a few like minor blockchains that have introduced these structures from their Genesis blocks. But Zcash is, I think, the first major mainnet to be doing this. So that's really quite exciting for us. As a scientist, I'm excited to see how this will be adopted, how the structure will look as a data structure, and how it will evolve. I want to study it. I want to extract experimental data from it and evaluate it. So this is a very, very nice platform for us to be able to work with and to see how people will use it. And especially, I'm mostly excited about being able to build on top of that in terms of interoperability and looking into the prospect of connecting Zcash with other blockchain systems and creating a bridge between smart contracts and code that can run between different blockchains. So for me, this is really like a first step towards an interoperable network of blockchains. So yeah, I'd say Heartwood is not the end goal. It's the beginning of an era for Zcash where we can work on interconnecting it and building on top of these very exciting interoperability features, measuring it, experimenting, and so on. So yeah, that's my involvement there, and that's how I look at it, towards the future.
Nice. And can you talk? So for I assume that some people might not be as familiar with it. I certainly am not. I was joking with Dara that like the zip process is as easy as like scribbling something on a whiteboard and then throwing it into the protocol. Can you talk a little bit about like? It sounds like your world is more the kind of research academic world. And then what is the process from that to like get something actually into the protocol? And Frederick, if you have any perspective on that, chime in. I feel like a lot of this happens behind, even though it's an open source project, I think with a lot of protocols, it feels like it happens behind a digital curtain or an iron curtain. And that can be pretty intimidating for people who might want to help, but they're not like the most brilliant PhD cryptographer or like a stellar star protocol developer.
Yeah, so regarding like the process of how this happened, there's a lot of academic work indeed behind this, like the series of papers behind proofs of work. I mean, the first iteration of that was even earlier than my work. It was a paper in 2017, so that's already 3 years ago. And the non-interactive proofs of work paper, after we got it out on a repository, or the cryptographic repository ePrint for preprints prior to peer review, I mean, we spent around 2 years refactoring this protocol, finding attacks, and doing the full security proofs in various models until we had the peer-reviewed acceptance at the Financial Crypto Conference this year. So there's a lot of work going back and forth, with the reviewers through this anonymous process of, scientific review to write the protocol, fix it, correct it, rewrite it in a way that it is digestible by others, and so on. But after writing the paper, there's a long process from taking that from the whiteboard and from the PDF to the implementation. After this specification has been, or not the specification, but once the pseudocode has been written in the form of a paper, there's a significant amount of work that has to go into doing the nitty-gritty details. So if I go and write, here's a point where you create a signature and you check a signature, and that's just one line in my paper, then the cryptographic engineer has to go in and write, 200 or 500 lines of code to make that happen, because there's a lot of it happening behind the scenes that doesn't really show up in the paper. So there's a lot of technical details there. And there's a lot of different skills needed to take that to production. So from the cryptographer that does the math and the proofs, to the cryptographic engineer that figures out the details to go from the paper to the actual process of what kind of keys will we use, how will we manage them, how will we erase them safely, to the software engineers who specialize in their various areas, from networking to storage to performance optimizations and so on, where not really, you don't need any crypto skills because you already have the defined protocol, but you still need to work out every other detail like performance and networking and so on. So there's a lot of people involved in getting that ready to roll in the way that will happen today.
Yeah, and I just want to do a quick plug. Thanks for walking us through that, Dionysus. I just want to do a quick plug. The engineering team at ECC has recently started these arborist calls, and that is a kind of, I don't know if it's monthly, but it's a semi-regular call where protocol discussions and protocol upgrades and just protocol development happens. So if that's interesting to you, or if you want to learn more, check it out in the forums. Dara, welcome back. We have people at ECC who've joined recently. We have Chris Nuttycombe. Feel free to say hi. Maybe talk a little bit about what you're excited about with Heartwood. And then I am not actually watching the YouTube live stream chat. So if anybody has an eye on that, please let me know if people are asking questions. I'm also not watching the block height ticker. So I think we need to figure out kind of like what the countdown process is going to look like. It's probably still about 20 to 30 minutes away, based on the last estimates I saw. Is that correct?
I can screen share that if you want. I can screen share my node if you want.
Is it just okay, it's the node, it's not the website.
I can screen share either if you want. Hang on, how do I think you have to give me permission to screen share.
Okay.
Let's see.
I'm going to my note too. I have forgotten. Thanks.
I'm going to make you host because I feel like that's how. But then if people are in the waiting room, you'll need to let them in. Hello, Linda. I like how people's videos keep popping in and out. Oh, Ryan says the node is cooler. It is pretty cool. Look at that. I'm going to see if we can, I feel like Sean is in the other chat or in the YouTube. And see if we can invite him to participate if he so desires. Okay, so Dara, where should we be looking? Oh, block height 902984.
Yes, so that's the current block height, and then Heartwood will activate at 903,000. Like it says, in around 20 minutes.
Fun. Okay, cool.
Oh, look at that, 2 to the power of 32 solutions per second.
Wow, it's pretty high.
Who in this chat runs a full node, just out of curiosity? Dara? Anybody else?
Well, I'm running one at the moment.
Linda, is that you?
I run one on occasion, but not regularly.
Who said that, Frederick?
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, I run one occasionally as well.
Yeah, I don't have it on all the time.
I feel like that's going to be my New Year's resolution for 2021 is to learn how to run a full node, or find a computer that will allow me to do that.
I wanted to expand on something that you asked earlier, Elena, about the opaqueness of the process, which I think is a very interesting conversation. Like at Parity, we've participated in the governance and like these processes of multiple blockchains, and it's always strange. And I think a big factor of it is what Dionysus was talking about, where it's such a long process that people can't see everything end to end, right? You kind of lose track of what has happened when, like from the point that someone does the research to when it's implemented is years sometimes. And I know this happens a lot in Ethereum, for instance, where people say, decisions are being made behind closed curtains, and no one has any insight into what's going on. But then there's weekly core dev calls, and it's all published, and it is all out in the open. And you tell someone this, and they go, "Well, I'm not going to listen to like a 2-hour call every week just to find out what's going on." And like it's because there's so much involved, like the average person can't follow it, and therefore it's invisible. It's beyond what they can see. And I don't know how to really combat that. It's a very hard thing to do. And I think it's sort of, community management can do a good job of just like trying to summarize these things, trying to like push stuff out. But at the end of the day, if you want to get involved and like be a developer on a core team, or be someone that proposes improvements, then I think you kind of have to. There's a Swedish expression that's like, take a bite out of the sour apple. and just like, it's a lot of work, and you just have to accept that to some degree.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's like a tension between wanting to make this open source community or open source process accessible, but then the reality is that this is extremely complicated technology, is very advanced, and like the learning curve is really steep. So I think there's a difference between like a barrier to entry and then just like a learning curve. And so like a barrier to entry might be, and this is totally part of community management or community like outreach, is a barrier to entry is just kind of like, we don't share the link in places that are accessible to a broad audience. And so the like way to get involved or the way to participate in the conversation overserves like a certain group that might already be part of the conversation to begin with. So like sharing things in forums and not on Twitter, or sharing things in a listserv that's really hard to get on. So that I would think is a barrier to entry. But then the learning curve, yeah, there's just like onboarding into this system, whether you are a developer or a user or just a hobbyist, is definitely like a pain point, frequently cited by a lot of people. And I think it's just going to take time, because you can't really, the sour apple is like learning everything that you need to learn in order to be able to meaningfully participate or contribute. I know we have Chris, who recently joined ECC. I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about your learning curve, but I don't want to put you on the spot. But yeah, I can like Chris Nuttycombe basically joined, and then with Ying Tong as well, another person who worked on Fly Client implementation, and they both got up to speed in like record time. So kudos to you guys for making it look easy, but I'm sure it was a little more challenging than that.
Yeah, I mean, there's still a tremendous amount for me to learn in terms of all of the cryptography, but getting in with the software engineering has not been too bad. So, but definitely kudos to the rest of the core team for bringing us on so effectively.
Thanks. 8 blocks to go.
Cool. So now I wanted to just check the YouTube to make sure nobody, I think mine Zcash is on, has been putting things in the chat. Derek, can you talk to us a little bit about what the process is, like getting ready for activation? And I feel like Andre is also on the call. There's like a lot involved with like making sure people download and upgrade the right network system.
Yeah, so there's all of the communication side. I don't personally have a lot to do with that. I'm more on the protocol side. Then, yeah, well, one thing that is important to realize is that we have to do a lot of this a long time in advance. So we're currently finalizing the release that will set the canopy testnet activation height. So that's the next upgrade after Heartwood. And we've been implementing that for the past few months. So we did that for Heartwood. Sort of, when did we do it for Heartwood? Beginning of the year, roughly.
It was right before I joined. It was about 3 months ago.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, there's a long lead time for a lot of the technical stuff, but then there's shorter term things like yesterday from my point of view, we sent out an alert which put versions that weren't going to support the upgrade into safe mode. Safe mode is a mode where it doesn't risk user funds. But that was actually because we made a mistake earlier. So those nodes actually should have shut down already. But so there's lots of sort of moving parts to remember.
Andre, do you want to talk a little bit about, also, hi, Andre, good morning.
Morning,
do you want to talk a little bit about the process of talking to miners and getting everybody on board in terms of kind of be on the protocol, the other ecosystem partners that need to be on board? I feel like also wallets, exchanges, you've been talking to everybody this past month.
Yeah, so I handled ecosystem outreach and communications for this upgrade. And for me, it was a learning process for me in itself. I think that, it was, an interesting process working with miners because, the goal going into any sort of network upgrade like this is to get the vast majority of hash power to upgrade to, the most recent software, making sure that they're running Zcash D version 3, updating their all the changes that went into this upgrade. So this upgrade had the change to the consensus branch ID, and so that process is pretty important for the security of the network upgrade, because if we did not have a majority of hashing power running the upgraded software, it could result in a fork of the network that we definitely want to avoid in a situation like this. And so, beyond miners, ecosystem outreach, pretty much anyone that runs a Zcash node, exchanges, wallets, making sure that they're all up to date and that the process is as smooth as possible for them.
Nice. Well, thanks for doing all that. I feel like it takes a village. It truly does.
I think that's a good example of some of the work that goes on behind the scenes to ensure that the Zcash network operates smoothly and that people don't suddenly find that their services or the service providers fall over when there's a network upgrade. And it's kind of it's a little bit thankless because it is so hidden away, and you're following up with people trying to cajole them, say, are you guys ready to upgrade and all this sort of stuff. So yeah, kudos to Andre for taking on that role.
Yeah, and kudos to our network partners as well, because I think Dara alluded to it. We have this network upgrade, and then right around the corner, there's another one coming down the pike. So I think it's one of those, one of the kind of defining characteristics about Zcash that we don't talk about enough is the consistent network upgrade schedule, which helps the project be more nimble and kind of innovate and incorporate new features on a regular basis. That's something that's really awesome about Zcash. But at the same time, I think it also requires a bit of cajoling, like Dodger said. But yeah, just kind of a lot of relationship building with our partners to convince people that hey, this is important. Thank you for supporting what we do. And by the way, every 3 to 6 months, we're going to talk to you about like one network upgrade or another. It looks like we're 7 minutes away from countdown. I was wondering if anybody had an appetite for one quick round of Zcash Taboo. This is a fun game that we invented internally. It's a little silly, like all things that I enjoy. And yeah, we could do 3 rounds of 2 minutes. And I can explain the rules, but first, show of hands if this is something that people would be interested in. I feel like yeah, Andre did it last time. I think Paku, were you in one of the original cohorts that played the game?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No.
Oh, morning, Zuko.
Good morning from Colorado.
Okay, you came just in the nick of time. We're about to play a game, and the game is Zcash Taboo. So really, I did not get consensus. I just got a thumbs up from Andre, but I'm going to run with it. Dara, is Dara on the call? She might be.
She's double duty on the technical call.
Yes, I see that. So I won't lean on her. Okay, so the way this works is I'm going to set a timer and I'm going to pick one person, and then I'm going to direct message that person 5 technical Zcash related terms. And they can be from anything. They could be from this network upgrade, previous network upgrades. And then that person has to try to explain what the term is without using the term. And we all have to guess what it is. So that's the game. I think we can do it in about 1 round. We'll see like 1 round first if it sticks. And Andre, I think I'm gonna pick on you. Oh, DC's joining the call. He did it last time too. Oh, network upgrade in 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Okay. Well, yeah, maybe we should wait. DC, Zuko, do either of you want to say a few words, reflections on Heartwood before it activates to mainnet?
After I finish my coffee, so hopefully the next block will be delayed.
DC, are you with us? I feel like he was in the waiting room and then I maybe lost him. Oh no, he's here. Do either of you want to say a few words, reflections on Heartwood before it activates the mainnet?
Sounds like somebody's listening to the YouTube stream.
Yeah, DC, if you're talking to us, I think we hear the delay, but that's okay. Oh my gosh, 1 minute. Very exciting.
We're just 1 block away.
Mm-hmm.
Drinking more coffee.
Whenever there's a situation like this, I'm reminded of an English TV show called Countdown, where they have a giant clock that sits behind the contestants, and it counts down from 30 seconds, and it's got this really cool music. It goes dun 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 dun.
Oh, let me see if I can pull it up.
And then at the end it goes did it boo. Just every time I see a countdown like this, it just reminds me of that.
It's called The Countdown.
It's called Countdown. It's on Channel 4 in the UK.
Nice. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can get the theme song.
This last block is forever.
A watched block never minds.
Watched block never minds.
Oh, here's the.
Everyone's watching.
There
dun,
we go.
Dun, dun, dun. It worked. Yay! Congratulations, everyone.
Next upgrade unknown.
Doo-doo-doo-doo. Okay, so now I think we should just kind of hang tight. Looks like everything is going okay.
Mined by via BTC.
Nice. Well, now that that's been mined and it's activated.
2,600 Zec in it in the block. I mean, transactions worth that much.
Okay, congratulations, everyone.
Congratulations to the Zcash team.
Yay, Nathan, Zuko, DC, want to share any words of wisdom with us or play a game of Zcash Taboo?
Not it.
One word of wisdom is maybe next time we should figure out how to make activation happen at a different time of day.
Well, this time worked really well for people on in Europe. So one thing we could do is keep it at this time of day, but all fly to Europe.
Yes. Okay.
Ooh.
That's excellent non-technical solution.
Just a thought. Oh, I'm here with the non-technical solutions.
The time does drift.
Isis and Fred.
The time does drift over because we set the activation height months in advance, so it just drifts over time. And,
so day of, we just got to be ready to fly to different places.
It wasn't intended to be at this time of day. It was intended to be later on. It just drifted. I think it might have been intended to be later on yesterday, so it's drifted overnight. Anyway,
we should have it intended to be at a terrible time because it will drift.
Oh, good
yeah,
point.
that's a good idea.
That's a good idea.
Let's make it 3 a.m. Denver time.
Yeah, I like the idea of just going to Europe though. So I feel like whatever time we need to make it happen for that.
Very pleasant time in some island time.
Maybe we could all go to Greece and hang out with Dionysus.
Oh,
surprise!
surprise!
The perfect time for here. It's 2 in the afternoon, and we even have like some nice blue skies. Let me show you guys. You should totally come here.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Nice.
Yeah, so move here for the next hard fork.
Well, that is in November.
For Colorado, this is perfect for we could do the upgrade and then it's Alpine start time. So go out and do some mountaineering and get off the gates before the thunderstorms.
Yes. Nice. Okay. Well, that's really all we have planned today, my friends. If you want to hang out for a few more minutes and chat in the meantime, you're welcome to do so.
Wait, are we not doing the Zcash Taboo then?
We can. I didn't know there was interest, but Dara,
do it.
You know the way to my heart. Okay, who wants to be?
Wow, there's 6 whole blocks now.
Yeah,
by the way.
Yeah. Okay, so I think I want to make Andre the person to go first, just because I work with him the most, and I don't think he'll resent me for picking on him. So Andre, the way this is going to work is that I'm going to set a timer, and then I'm going to direct message you a few terms, and then you'll have 2 minutes to try to see as many terms as you can get through, and those will be your points. Okay, so let me.
And then can anyone like guess at any time by shouting the word?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a collaborative game. It's not a we all win, basically.
All right.
Okay,
but you can get glory.
Yeah, well,
but I can't use the word itself, right? That's the one.
Okay, 1 second. I'm almost done. And then you don't have to say the terms in the order that I am sending them to you. So you can like pick the easier ones. Okay, that looks like it's about 5. Give you one more because I think you're going to do great. Okay, so Andre has the terms. Let me get my phone. And when I say go, you have to get people to guess
His
it.
face.
So ready? Yeah, I know. This is going to be great. Okay, Andre, ready, set, go.
Hold on, I need a second for this. So this word is a problem, like the main problem that was solved by the invention of the blockchain. That
consensus?
Centralization, decentralization.
Hi, Fred.
Byzantine
No.
generals.
Money, consensus.
Sorry, Andre.
Distributed consensus.
The Byzantine generals problem, is that it?
Central banking.
That was it. Yep.
Okay, you have 4 more turns to go, Andre.
So what specifically did that solution solve for?
The anonymous Byzantine problem.
You can also break it down by terms, like it's 2 words, 1 word.
Okay,
is...
yeah. So 2 words that the Byzantine general problem.
Byzantine consensus.
Byzantine
2 generals. There are several variants of the problem.
No, this is so hard.
You can think about it.
Generals?
No, you can think about it as less technical than that. It's like in very like real terms, like what did the Byzantine generals problem solve?
Distributed consensus.
In terms of how value, value is transferred.
Yeah,
double spending.
Yes.
Nice.
Oh.
Okay. You have about 20 seconds.
That was the easiest one?
Oh
yeah.
My gosh.
Yeah, these were tough. Elena. Okay, so one of these is it was a feature of Fly Client, or like a technical aspect that Fly Client was based. Close. Yes.
Ding, ding, ding. Okay, who wants to go next?
I can go next.
All right, Dara is pretty good at this game, so let's see. Dara, thank you, Andre, for playing. High five, that was great.
3 points.
That was fun.
Where are you sending me on Slack?
On Zoom.
On Zoom. Okay.
Although I can send it to you on Slack as well. Okay, let me just send you.
DC's just lit up with his red light.
Yeah, DC,
are
you camping?
Good morning, folks. It's really early here in Colorado, and I'm pre-coffee, so I'm going to sit out this round. But pleased to be here with everyone.
Okay, Dara, I'm giving you a lot of terms just because I feel like you might fly through these. Okay, tell me. I'll start the timer whenever you're ready. You have 2 minutes.
This is a type of cryptographic algorithm. Recent proof systems like Plonk are based on it. Also Halo. It's one of the it's one of the 2 parts where the other part is an interactive oracle proof, or an algebraic holographic proof, and the other thing is
accumulators.
No, it's something that suppose you have some numbers that are dependent on a variable, and they are powers of the variable. So some of those powers is a
tau.
It's a 3. Oh, it's a 3-word term.
More generally, yes, 3-word term.
Powers of tau.
The first word, it's something like x squared plus 1 is a
polynomial.
Yes.
Polynomials of tau.
I think someone said it.
Polynomial commitment scheme.
Yes.
Oh.
The next one is okay. This is a way of using.
That's a fun game.
This is a way of using originally a Bitcoin client. It's a light client protocol, 3 words.
SPV?
It was meant, yes. Expand the acronym.
Yeah,
I
that
can't
counts.
remember what it stands for.
Simple payment verification.
Yes.
Duh.
This next one is a single word. It's a system for organizing lots of cloud computers, for managing them.
Beowulf.
No.
Kubernetes?
We use it in Zcash.
Yes.
Sorry, yes.
Kubernetes.
The next one is something you would use to restore a wallet.
Backup key?
Seed.
Backup phrase?
Seed is right.
Okay.
You've said both words, but you haven't said them
Backup
together.
seed.
No.
Seed phrase.
Seed phrase,
yes.
Okay, Jared, you're at time.
Okay.
Wow.
That was a very
We got
impressive
1,
round.
2, 3, 4.
Okay, does anybody want to go next? Is this fun? I'm having a ball, so I could do this forever.
I'll try it.
Okay, yes. Let's see. It's funny, the first time we did this, I was like, I'm gonna give you guys the easy ones. And then the first easy one was something like Merkle Mountain Ranges, or I just assumed. Yeah, and then another joke that we did at the beginning, like the first time I did this game, is to illustrate. Oh, people are guessing on the YouTube chat. Okay, thank you for YouTubers for guessing on the live stream. So one of the.
Fortunately, the YouTube is a bit delayed.
I know. So one of the like evil plans behind this game is to get people to understand how hard it is to market all of these terms and communicate it in simple words that people can understand. So this is my secret way of getting everybody to have empathy for the growth team. Not that people are not empathetic, people are great, but
we're very empathetic.
Now you know.
Thank you.
Now you know. Okay, Dodger, terms are coming your way in just a second. Okay. I hope I sent that to just Dodger privately. Okay.
Yeah.
I will start the timer whenever you're ready.
Okay, one of these is start. One of these is 2 words, and it's a method of deploying technology.
Software release?
No, it's
Open
a
source?
specific type of thing. The first word reminds one of where a ship might come in.
Docker
Like a
files.
container.
Is it Docker? Docker something?
So that's part of the word, and it's a slightly longer. And then the second word is something that you might do with that thing.
Docker compose.
Containerized deployment?
Dockerized deployment?
So the first word there is correct, and then the second word is things that you find on a computer. They're just lying all over the place.
Files.
Dockerized files?
Docker machine.
Yep,
Docker
that's
engine.
correct. Okay. This is the name of one of the big mining organizations, and the term that we use for a group of miners who are doing a thing
mining
is
pool.
actually part
Pool.
of the name of this.
Fly pool.
The brothers. They're in, I think, the Pacific Northwest.
Oh, I can't remember.
That mining word and then elongated slightly. No.
You guys are so close. It's the letter in the alphabet after M.
Isn't that cheating?
No.
Yeah, that is cheating.
I guess you can't cheat since you made the game.
Absolutely cheating.
If you were going to jump.
It's the opposite of out.
In pool?
Reverse the order there.
Nin pool? Poolin?
Poolin, yeah.
Poolin.
Okay, that's at 2 minutes. Do you want to? Yeah. Okay. Does anybody want to go next, or we can give Dodger 2 more minutes, because I feel like Dockerized files, that was really terrific.
2 more minutes.
Okay, Dodger, you get 2 more minutes. Godspeed.
Okay. This is the mechanism that a lot of people have talked about for scaling Ethereum.
Sharding?
Yes.
ZK rollup.
Nope, sharding. This is a a way that Bam Bam has been looking a lot at how to check software for bug. Well done. Okay, so with shard, yeah. I have no idea what that thing is.
Yeah, some of these, so
That's
some
on
of
this,
these
But I'm going to try it
terms-
anyway. So this is 3 words. The first 2 words have got 2 letters. One of them is so the first one is the symbol for the gas that constitutes the majority of what we breathe.
Helium.
Interesting.
No,
75% of what we breathe is
nitrogen is N.
Yeah, and it's the first 2 letters of
NO2.
Ni.
Yes.
No,
Okay.
that would be.
And then the second 2 letters are I guess I'm trying to think that now I'm going down this chemical route. There was a Russian guy who was murdered in the UK, and he was poisoned with, and the first 2 letters of that.
Po. Nipopal.
Nipopal.
Dang, that was insane.
That's pretty hard.
That's very impressive.
Nipopal is the paper or the research that Dionysus worked on. Non-interactive proofs of proof of work.
Yes.
Yes, correct.
Oh, that's why your face was so entertaining throughout this whole process.
Yeah.
I had no idea what it was, but I thought I'll have a go at it anyway.
Well, that was one of the biggest surprises.
It is exactly what the term says.
One of the biggest surprises I had when playing this game is I assumed like everybody in this team knew all of these words, but I mean, this is complicated stuff. Okay, do we have an appetite for one more round? I'm looking at the time. It is 7:13, so 11:13, I guess UTC. We can probably do one more round and then sign off.
Yep, sounds good
This
to me.
has been a terrific activation countdown. Hopefully the start of a tradition. We can do Zcash Taboo for all activation countdowns going forward. Okay, who wants to be the last round? Anyone? Let's see.
Go on, Zuko. You've had your coffee.
Oh, Zuko. Okay, nice.
Do I have to find the private messages? Chat.
I'm gonna send it to you in. Oh, Zuko's gonna get all the easy ones because they're the ones that I haven't been sending people. Okay, so I'm gonna send it to you in the Zoom chat.
Okay.
And I just have to type them out. And if you guys have, everybody else, if you have suggestions, DM me on chat and I can send those to Zuko as well.
So Elena, while we're waiting for Zuko to get briefed, Nathan just sent me some shielded Zec on his mobile wallet. He chose an interesting amount to send. But his memo says smoke test from ZCC Heartwood wallet. So we know the new network upgrade is live and we know it works for sending shielded transactions. So thanks, Nate. I'll shoot that back to you here in a minute.
Yep.
All right, Zuko, you have the final terms for this
Wait,
activation.
I'm supposed to get you to say all of these in order or something?
It doesn't have to be in order. You can pick any term you want and you just have to try to describe the term in such a way that we can all guess what it is.
Without using the word.
Without using the word.
This is hard.
Right?
Okay.
Whenever you're ready.
What's the first transaction when you look at a list of transactions from a block?
Coinbase.
Coinbase.
Okay, that was
Coinbase.
What's not testnet?
Mainnet.
Mainnet.
Reg test.
Yep. No, I was right. You were right. You had a bing dong thing.
Well, there's one more word in that term, technically.
Is there? I don't see there being multiple words in that term.
Mainnet network.
Mainnet, and then there's a second thing right after it.
Isn't that the next word?
Oh, no. If it's on one line, it's all one term.
Well, there's I only see one
mainnet
line
activation.
with 8 words on it.
Mainnet transaction?
Mainnet activation.
Ah, okay.
What's above the branches?
Trees.
Leaves.
Trunk.
Blocks.
Canopy.
Yep.
Merkle trees.
Bingo.
Oh.
Oh, that was just a riddle to get us to say canopy.
The next one's too hard. I'm gonna skip it. What's not Bitcoin?
Zcash.
Ethereum. Zcash.
Altcoin.
Didn't work.
It was Zcash.
Oh,
Bingo.
these are easy.
Yeah, these are easy.
Working on that last one.
What's not a proprietary?
Open source.
Open source.
Open source what?
Software.
Bingo.
Ding, ding, ding.
Oh, okay.
I skipped
Yeah.
one that was too hard.
What was
What
it?
was
This is
the
great.
one
That's the
you
secret to
skipped?
success. The one that's too hard is librust. What was it? In fact, what was? I think they might have been
Oh, we could have
like
got that.
misconfigured when they got pasted because I can't tell which word, which
Oh.
are words and which are phrases.
That's probably true. I should have done commas. Okay. Hey, Andy. I love your mask. Welcome to the party.
Hanging out at the airport.
Oh, okay. All right.
Oh wow.
Interesting choice.
Who are you flying with?
With Donna.
Where are you
No,
going?
as in which airline?
Delta.
Respectable.
So Delta
Nice.
I
still
hope she's
blocks
good
the
at
middle
steering.
seat out. Hope she's good at what?
Steering
Steering, yeah. Good point.
planes.
Well, Andy, you joined just in the nick of time. We were right about to conclude the Heartwood mainnet activation live stream. So
How'd it go? Everything's good?
we're still live on YouTube. So if you want to say hi to people on the internet, like, go for it.
No thanks.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
Hey, everybody.
Well,
No hi to you from Andy.
yeah, no hi to you from Andy.
Go on, I'll say hi.
Yeah. Well, so thanks everybody online for participating and guessing. And then we'll see everybody like in the Zcash forum, just on Twitter, out and about, assuming Twitter doesn't get hacked again. And then also like mark your calendars for the November activation of Canopy. Very exciting.
Actually,
up on your to-do skills.
before that, there's the testnet activation of Canopy. We don't know the block count yet, but it'll be pretty soon.
Nice.
Sometime in August.
Woohoo.
Early August.
Okay.
Oh, boy.
This was a great way to start the day, although I don't want to do this every day, but I'm happy we did it today.
Thank you, Elena.
Thanks everybody for participating.
Thanks.
And yeah, happy